Hello and welcome to Never Seen It. This is a podcast about movies we haven't seen yet. My name is Trent. I'm sitting here with Betsy.
That's me.
This is the third movie we're covering in the month of January that are exclusive to the streaming platform Netflix.
A little service you've maybe heard of.
There are hundreds and hundreds of movies on that service, and we have chosen a select few to cover for this show.
We're not doing hundreds of movies. We could do an entire podcast just about shit from Netflix that I'm sure someone has.
I was just going to say, yeah, there are probably a dozen other podcasts that already do that.
They don't need our contribution. This is what they get.
Yeah. Hashtag not sponsored by Netflix. So this is the third one we're doing, like I said. This one is called Private Life. Now, we picked this movie off of a list of favorite movies that have come out in the past few years that were made by Netflix. And of course, we are on a Paul Giamatti kick right now. He is very popular. He just won he won a Golden Globe, right?
Yes, he won a Golden Globe. He's gone viral for hanging out at the In-N-Out.
Right. But besides him, Private Life, Betsy, what do you know about this movie?
I had never heard of this movie before we watched a trailer for it. But then we watched the trailer and I was like, okay, I can get down with this. So it is a couple. It is Paul Giamatti and the delightful Kathryn Hahn. And this is, again, a couple years before WandaVision. So she was known, but not by the standards that she is known now.
Yeah, not by the masses.
No.
She hadn't really done anything that was widely seen.
She had, but I think she was always in the background and people didn't realize, she's amazing.
Yeah, she's a very minor character.
So they play a married couple in their 40s who are trying by any means necessary to start a family.
To conceive a child.
Yes, and they are trying to adopt or get a surrogate or, get someone to give them their baby.
Yeah, and they're going through all of the different, fertility treatments and all of the things that you have to do when you're of that age and you're trying to conceive. Because it is certainly not easy when you are in your 40s, of course. To my knowledge, this is more about the struggles that the couple is having, not only conceiving, but the conflict that kind of brings up in their relationship. And I think there's also some other family involved that they're kind of seeing them from afar.
Yeah, like Molly Shannon is her sister, I think.
Yeah,
and then
some
there's
relative,
a niece that
know.
comes to stay with them.
Yeah.
They're the cool aunt and uncle, but they are the childless aunt and uncle. So she's kind of their extra child that they get to hang out with.
Yeah, and I guess the couple here, they're writers or artists or something
They're writers.
A playwright.
Yeah, they live in New York. They're writers. They're living the dream.
Is it New York? Okay.
But it doesn't really seem like they're living the dream, as it were.
Right. We really glommed onto this one because, hey, we are approaching 40. We don't have any children. And it seems like this is maybe a movie for us because it's a relationship thing. It is probably a lot of dialogue.
I'm leaning towards dramedy. It's serious topics, but funny. The trailer made me laugh really hard.
Yeah, these two people are funny.
Yes.
So I think you're right that it's more of a dramedy type of thing. So it is a serious subject matter, but hey, we can have fun along the way. I guess that's about it. So we're going to go and sit down and watch Private Life. We will be right back. That was Private Life. Betsy, what did you think of that one?
This is one of those movies, when I'm looking at who's in it and I watch the trailer, I really want to like this movie. And I did.
Okay. You kind of faked me out there for a second.
I got you good. Yeah, that was as advertised. I kind of had an expectation of what the movie was, and the trailer does it justice.
Yeah.
I despise when a trailer does not represent the movie you're going to see.
When they do the fake out.
Yes, when you watch a trailer and you think it's going to be one kind of movie and then you watch it and it's nothing like that.
Yeah.
This movie easily could have been just a straight, miserable fucking drama about two people struggling in a marriage and then it all falls apart.
Right.
That's what it could have done. They could have faked you out. But in the trailer, this is really funny. And in the movie, it is really funny.
It's even more funny than what I was expecting.
There is some absurd stuff in this movie that was making us guffaw.
And I think it's really because, hey, we are married, we are about that age, and we've been married long enough so that a lot of this humor really gets to us. Like, let's just come right out and say it. When Kathryn Hahn is coming out and Donald ducking it in front of the camera and just having the perfect line readings about, hey, I'm looking at this painting on the wall of this, spread eagle woman. And she's talking about vaginas.
But she is doing it as though she is wearing a fully clothed outfit. Like, she is not wearing pants. She is not wearing underwear.
Yes.
And she is just cleaning the bathroom like a lunatic, yelling about how it's fine, leave it on the wall. I was not expecting that at all, but it is like the funniest thing in this whole movie. And I'm just like, okay, this is the kind of movie we're watching.
And then, next shot, she's like bare ass going back into the bathroom and cleaning.
Oh, Kathryn Hahn is absolutely the feature of this movie.
She's so great.
Like, you, on paper, put Kathryn Hahn and Paul Giamatti. You expect him, because he is kind of the bigger star, especially 5 years ago.
Sure.
You would expect that he is going to take up the scene. He is going to occupy all the space. He is really subdued in this movie, and it lets her shine. And it's fantastic because she is one of these women that is really, really talented. And it took fucking WandaVision for people to notice it. And I hate that that is what it took, because this is how many years before WandaVision?
Sure, and she's not even like the main person in WandaVision either.
No, she's just outstanding in it. But she's outstanding in this movie. And this has, I assume, been sitting on Netflix for coming up on 6 years. And I have never heard of this until about a month ago.
Yeah, and she's really able to really show her acting chops, because a lot of her stuff isn't really played for laughs, but because it's written in a way that I think you and I can really relate to, it's really funny.
It's because it's real. Like, when you as a couple are trying to go through something together like this, that is really fucked up and stressful and grueling, and it just takes up every ounce of energy you have as an individual and as a couple, and you're going through it physically and mentally and emotionally, you are going to find yourself in these really weird situations. And the first scene in the movie is kind of like roadblock, roadblock, roadblock. But the way they're going through it is really funny, because they go through the IVF. So she's getting all these injections. She's getting all kinds of hormones up the yin yang. And then when they finally go, they have to sync it up. So he's got to go and get his sample. And they find out that he's got one testicle and it doesn't work so good. So it's just like roadblock, roadblock, roadblock.
Everything is not in their favor. And you said at the beginning of the movie, they kind of set this up like, hey, here's a woman in her underwear and there's a guy in the room and he's about to like take her panties off. And you think there's going to be like, okay, sexy times, we're going to really try to conceive here. No, that is not what this is.
Even before you see anything on screen, you hear like heavy breathing.
Right.
Like they're fooling around.
But no, she's just like bracing herself to get stuck.
To get an injection. Yep, you went there. To get this injection, and then she's just bitching about how it hurts, and he's just like, right. I don't know, honey. And it's just very real. That's what it is, because you were looking it up, and this was written by somebody off of their personal experiences. This woman who wrote this movie, who directed the movie, went through this process, and she did all the IVF and being stuck with needles and trying to find egg donors. And they're pursuing every path available to them. They're like, well, we're on the list for adoption, but we figured we'd do this while we wait.
Yeah, do the shotgun approach. Just anything and everything.
So here's a fun story for you. Somebody in my hometown actually had something like this happen where they were trying and trying and trying to have a kid, and it wasn't going well, so they finally decided to adopt. And as soon as they adopted their first child, they found out they were pregnant with twins.
Yeah.
Like, genuinely, it happened at the same time. So I personally know someone who has gone through this road of, well, let's just do both. And it just happened for them that way. And this whole movie, they are just trying that. They are trying, birth mothers who are going to give up the baby. Right. I know people who have done that too, where this woman was pregnant and giving this baby up, and it just sort of, the stars aligned, these people connected somehow through mutual friends, and now they have like an open adoption where they know who their birth mother is. They still see her once in a while, but it's all super like friendly and copacetic, and everybody is just like, yeah, it works out. So they're trying every method to try to start a family.
And this movie is so like modern because all of these techniques, all of this technology, all these procedures didn't really exist in their current form like even 20 years ago.
They had like one version of it. Now there's like different versions of the same thing. So they even say she tried a round of fertility treatment, but it was like this kind, and I don't remember what that one was called because I'm not as familiar with it, but I've heard of IVF. So they literally said, okay, well, you did that last time, so now she's doing this other treatment. And everyone around them, all their friends are like, I thought they were done with that. I thought they already did that and they gave up.
Right.
And they're like, no, we did this one and now we're doing another one. Aren't they doing adoption? No, we're doing that too.
Well, and going along with it being very modern, you said that somebody went through the entire process of being the birth mother and adopting the kid, and the birth mother is involved in this entire relationship. That's extremely modern.
Most people, they don't know who the birth mother is. They just know there is a woman and she lives here and she is giving up her baby, and we have matched you up and you will never meet her and you'll sign the documents and that's going to be it. We close the door on it forever.
Right.
But yeah, the open adoptions are really becoming more common. And it's very interesting because everybody gets to be a part of this life that now is in the world. And I don't know, it's like somehow more confusing and less confusing because they just set the ground rules right away. Like, there are no ground rules.
Yeah.
Who the hell cares how you got here? You're here.
Right. Now, I was going to wait to talk about this, but this is kind of very related to what you just said. The title of the movie is called Private Life. Now, before we even sat down to record, I was having a really hard time remembering the name of the movie, for one thing. The second thing, now that I've seen it, what do you take as the meaning of the title? Because I have my own interpretation here. What is yours?
I think watching the movie, there's a lot of ways you can interpret it. One of them is what happens near the end of the movie when they finally get a donor, they do another round of fertilization, and it fails again. Mm-hmm. And Paul Giamatti literally says, honestly, I'm relieved. I kind of don't even think I want a kid anymore.
Yeah.
I want my life back.
Yeah, like he is having to be involved in this entire process. It is not just her. Even though she's the one having the baby, he is also very much involved, and he has to go to all the appointments, and he has to be the one administering the hormones and everything else. That takes a toll on not only, your relationship and everything else, but your time as well, and your energy and your emotions. You get wore out, not only because you're doing all this, but because you're not getting anywhere. You're failing. But you're not really failing. It's just not being successful.
Right. So that is one way you could interpret this, where he just wants it to be done. He would rather have just himself and her.
Yeah.
Like, that's the unit. And that's kind of how the movie ends, too. It does end on an ambiguous note.
Right.
But the whole process, even though we watch them fighting and struggling and being upset and having losses, and they aren't getting anywhere.
Yeah, they fight like 2 or 3 times in this movie.
They keep going, and they get closer by the end of the movie. So the last scene, they have gone through this process where they met a birth mother, and they got so far as to fly to Little Rock, Arkansas to meet her, and she ghosted them.
Yeah. That was devastating.
That was devastating. Then later on at the end of the movie, it happens again. They meet up with somebody else in Virginia, and the last shot of the movie is them waiting for her in Virginia in a restaurant. But this time, he moves from the opposite side of the table closer to her.
Yeah.
So it's kind of an interpretation of that. Like, it's our private life because we don't have kids. It's just the two of us. It is, you know, their business. They can do what they want as a couple, as adults.
Yeah. And in that scene at the end, it is them, I think, being a little bit more optimistic about it. Because before, the first time they go and meet somebody, they're across the table from each other. But this time, they sit together because they want to look upon this girl, this woman, as a couple.
Yeah, he's reached a newfound support in this relationship from the last scene where he's like, I'm so tired. I don't want to do this anymore.
Sure.
I'm relieved, frankly, that this didn't work out because I just don't know how to handle it anymore.
Right, and those two are going through different kinds of emotions because she says, I am so sad. I'm so sad because at the end of this, we went all through this thing. This was going to be the perfect thing. And it doesn't happen.
Well, and as a woman, like that's the thing you are preached at forever. Like, you are given the miracle of life and you are the vessel.
I'm failing at being a woman.
Yeah. In a society that emphasizes that above so many other things.
And with Paul Giamatti's character, he says, not only am I relieved about it not going through, but he says, you know what? I don't really know what to say to you anymore to like encourage you or comfort you or anything like that. I'm just kind of done.
I know I'm supposed to say something, but I got nothing.
Right.
I have nothing. I have nothing left to give you.
I have said so many comforting things over however long they've been trying that I got nothing left. This was gonna be the thing, and now there's nothing.
Yeah, so this movie's very real. Like, this is all stuff that neither of us have personally gone through, but I think we both know people that have gone through some version of what this couple's going through.
Totally. And I'll tell you my definition here because I haven't mentioned it yet. Private life to me is more of a relation to what Kathryn Hahn's character was arguing with Paul Giamatti's character about on the street, where they said, okay, you can go and get a donor egg. And she's feeling like completely left out of the situation. Like, I'm not contributing anything except my body. I'm not giving any DNA. The kid isn't going to look like me.
She's basically a surrogate to her own child.
Yeah, kinda. But the idea of a private life meaning this is a life that we are creating. This is ours. We didn't have any other outside influence other than the hormones and the drugs and whatever else getting pumped into you. But it is your child. If it is the DNA from both of you. And that is the goal here.
But everything you just said could be applied, like, remove the child factor, just them as a married couple.
Totally. It could be both.
Yeah, and that's kind of where it leaves us at the end of it, is just them as a couple.
But I do like that the title really gives whatever definition that you want, really.
I'm glad that once we've seen the movie, we can appreciate the title, because before you couldn't even remember the title.
No,
it's really
it's
not
it's forgettable.
It's a forgettable title that is, for some reason, the easiest thing in the world. It's 2 words in a phrase that you know, and for some reason it just doesn't stick. Like, we were watching the trailer earlier and it rolled into like a special introduction video with Kevin Smith at some event talking about this movie, and even he screwed up the title of the movie.
Right. And you would think that a movie like this would be called Private Lives because there's 2 of them, but I think them calling it a singular thing, the life is a kid.
Or a marriage.
I fully believe that it is a kid.
Or a marriage.
But your definition also works.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I like something that has different interpretations, and all of them could be correct. But anyway, going back to the movie itself, you're right. This is an extremely real story. It is extremely personal because clearly this is coming from a place where a person really went through this. It isn't just made up. It couldn't be because there's so many details here that I don't think that you could get just off the top of your head.
When it's your own experience, the details are a little bit different. Like, you can look into the research, but you're not going to write it the same way.
No, and the details are what make it here.
And it's kind of sad, but it's also funny, but it's also uplifting. Like, I don't know, it made me feel a lot of emotions.
Totally, and I was not expecting, honestly, to feel the emotions that I did because it's not until they are talking to Sadie, the niece, that I started to have a big reaction to what was happening on screen because, yeah, they're going through these struggles, they're going through all this, but Sadie has a very special relationship with these two people in that they're like her other parents. She calls them like my writing mom or my artistic mom or something like that.
Artistic mom and artistic dad, I think she said.
Right.
And I'm your artistic baby.
Right.
Because her parents don't get it and they don't get her.
Yeah.
But these two are kindred spirits.
And that's really amazing. Like, if you can find somebody outside of your own family, but tangentially related to that and be real with them, that's fantastic.
Well, yeah, she says you're my step uncle. I know technically we're not related, but I think you're like the cool aunt and uncle. And it's like, that's all I want to be in life, baby.
That's what I want.
I want to be the cool aunt and uncle.
We can't wait until some of our, nieces and nephews and whatever else come of age where we can actually, we can talk to them like adults and have a real conversation with them.
When kids become human beings with their own opinions and interests, they become so much more interesting to talk to.
Yeah, and we've talked about this a little bit before, where we have friends that we go out with almost once a month that they have a couple of daughters, and we have been around these two kids since they were born.
Since infancy.
Yeah, since they were born, and they know us, they know our names, they know our situation.
They come in and announce, I didn't used to like hamburger buns, and now I do.
Right.
Great.
Like kids do.
Amazing. You're changing and growing, and what a wondrous place your mind is.
Yeah. So it's situations like that that really tickle us. But it is different because this woman, she's in her 20s.
She's 25 years old.
She's 25 and
She's
in college.
She's not a child.
Yeah. So you can have a much different relationship with a person like that than you can with an actual child. You can have real conversations with them. You can talk to them about the future and really affect their life in a way that you can't with a child, because the stuff with children is very fleeting because their parents are really the ones that are implementing a lot of the stuff that they really need to learn. But there are some things that you just cannot learn from your parents. There's some things that you cannot ask your parents because it is way, way too embarrassing. But if you have the cool aunt and uncle, you can go to them and say, hey, I got this new boyfriend and I don't really know what's going on here and I want to do this with my boyfriend or whatever else.
But I loved the scene when it was their anniversary and she cooked them dinner and she's telling them about a story she wrote.
Right.
And she clearly goes to that place where she's comfortable telling them, but they are not comfortable hearing it. And you see them exchange the look of, oh, we're going to talk about this now. And then they just kind of change the subject. So even they have a boundary.
But no, Paul Giamatti even makes a joke about it.
He did before, but then she makes a comment about well, thanks, because I really wouldn't feel comfortable with my mom reading a story about me sucking some guy's cock, even if it is fiction. And the two of them are like, oh, Lord.
Okay. Should we be hearing this? And yes, you should be hearing it, because there's nothing wrong with having a conversation. It's just words.
Just words. But they decide she is a young person who they know, who they can trust, and they decide they're going to ask her if she would be the egg donor for them to conceive. And like any 25-year-old
Yep.
who is having some kind of a quarter-life crisis, she thinks about it for approximately 25 seconds and then agrees to do it.
Well, she's kind of like a little bit, not oblivious, but she doesn't really know what they're asking the first time they confront her with it.
They picked their timing poorly because it was breakfast and he asked about her eggs and she said scrambled. She had the exact response most people would have when asked about eggs.
I always love the joke whenever anybody can like insert it into something. Okay, well, how do you like your eggs? Unfertilized, thank you. Yeah.
But they finally get around to asking her, and she actually goes, wow, okay, wow. Well, what would that entail?
Yeah,
and then they go
she's
into
curious.
it. She's curious. And she doesn't have anything else going on, so she figures why not.
And she's heard of other people who have done it.
But this is the moment that got you emotional because she says, I'll do it. No, she said, okay. And they're like, okay, good. Thinking she means I'll think about it. And she's like, no, when I say okay, I mean, I'll do it. Let's go. And her reasoning is, you guys have meant so much to me. And if I can help you and repay that kindness, for her, it's just like, whatever, it's like a Tuesday.
Right.
And she has a speech later in the movie where she says she doesn't want to have kids, she wants to have a career. And her mom says, no, you should freeze your eggs.
Right.
But it's again that thing of, you cannot have it all. They tell you can have it all. But she says, no, I want to have a career. And Mom, you have spent my whole life telling me how much you have had to sacrifice as a mother.
Right.
And so she figures, why not help somebody do something that I'm not that interested in and they desperately want?
And I think it is the desperation that these two people have. It is in their eyes.
It is palpable.
I can see it on their faces.
The hope, they're so like, what's she gonna say? What's she gonna say?
It's so hopeful. And I think that's really the thing that would put anybody over the edge and say, yes, I will absolutely help you do this very important thing.
And they even said, there's no pressure. You don't have to give us an answer right now. And later on, when they're halfway through this process, they say, you can back out any time. Like they keep giving her opportunities to say no and get out of it.
Because they can see that she has a life. She wants to fuck Sam.
Yeah.
Come on.
I'm so very glad that when she announced that she was having a date, that Kathryn Hahn's character said the obvious thing. You are extremely fertile right now.
Right.
So please do not have penetrative sex. Like, you are so fertile. And she was like, yes, I'm aware. All I could think was, oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no, she is 25 and crazy hormonal, and she is just gonna do something stupid.
I immediately started to worry. Like, I don't worry about characters on the screen, Betsy.
Your latent dad instinct kicked
My
in.
paternal instincts kicked in, goddammit.
Your cool uncle vibes were like, please, don't do anything
Please,
stupid.
Please, nothing bad happen here.
Oh,
I can't handle it.
There were a few moments, like once they went down this road with her, where I'm just like, oh God, oh Lord. And it was adding to like the cringe factor at certain points. Like the scene where she gets up and announces to the whole family at Thanksgiving that I have agreed to do this, and her mother doesn't know, and her stepfather doesn't know, and there's other family members in this room, and they're just like, yay!
Mixed company.
Good speech. But yeah, that was really painful. That was a really painful scene to watch.
Yeah, and like the Molly Shannon character, I think, is a little bit, I don't know, her reaction is, I think, realistic.
I think it's appropriate.
I don't know if it's appropriate.
Okay, all things considered, like your definition of appropriate, it might not be the right response, but it is a believable response. Totally. I think it is a not measured, I guess, but it is the kind of reaction I would expect from a mother who is a little bit overprotective of her kids, who just wants them to have a good future, and they already established that this girl has some troubles and Mom's very worried about her.
I was just gonna say, Sadie has been going through some stuff.
She's having a crisis.
Yep.
And the last thing this mom wants her to do is, quote, throw her life away, even though she's really not.
Well, she even says, you don't know how much this affects us, too. Bullshit.
That's kind of the selfish response. Like, she says
Yeah.
something about you're throwing away the family DNA, and that's not yours to give away.
Yeah, like just throwing it around willy-nilly. And I think a lot of the Molly Shannon characters, her reaction to a lot of stuff is very old-fashioned.
Yes, this is the one thing that, coming back to what you said about it being modern.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people in this movie that do not understand any of the stuff that this married couple is trying to go through and achieve. Like, they are using the cutting edge science. They are throwing money at the problem as much as they can to get the medical advancements. They are going through adoption and surrogacy and this and that. And for Molly Shannon, she goes, that's insane. Why don't they give up? They're miserable people and they should just stop.
Yeah, and like there's this weird background of Molly Shannon being like resentful or very judgy of this other couple when she's not related to them. She married into this.
Well, yeah, she makes a comment where her husband says, they are family.
Yeah.
Like, yes, you married into it, but that makes them your family too.
Exactly.
That's kind of how that works.
I guess her husband is a doctor, and these other two people are like very, aloof artists in New York City, where she
doesn't get them.
She doesn't get it. Meanwhile, she's also the one who is going through like pre-empty nest syndrome because her youngest daughter is about to go off to Berkeley. When she announces that the dad is ecstatic, as you should be, because the kid got into where they wanted to go.
A prestigious college.
Yes. And she's like, she cannot be happy. She cannot be happy for her.
She's like, oh, that's great, honey. I was waiting for the but. Like,
yeah.
The way she delivered that line, it was like she went, honey.
Right.
Like, she inhaled and then you were waiting for her to say something else.
And in all of the other conversations that she has with Sadie, she always has some kind of cutting remark. It's always, yes, but. Shut your damn mouth and be supportive.
It's the problem of being a mother. You can't be quiet sometimes.
Yeah.
You have to speak up.
She's impossible. God.
I think she's believable though.
I think you're right.
And she even tries to make amends. Like, Sadie does not need her permission. She's 25 years old. She's gonna do what she wants to do.
Right.
And she tries to connect with her and she says, I don't approve of it. I'm not cool with it. But you're my daughter and I love you and I'm going to try to support you. I'm going to try.
Yeah, I want to support you. I'm not cool with it, but I'm not going to agree with it. And I'm going to have a little comment about every little step of the way. But I'm not going to continue to say, no, you cannot do this or should not do this.
And then Sadie ends up in the hospital at some point, and the first thing she says is, Mom, it's not them.
Right.
It was me, because she knows that she is going to go off and start screaming
and blaming,
at this couple.
Yeah, blaming the couple about it. No.
And she just looks her dead in the eyes and says, no, Mom, I'm fine.
I know you, mother of mine.
Say nothing.
Yeah.
Because this is me. This is not them.
Because she knows that she's going to try to find something to
you're
drive a
ruining
wedge.
her life, basically.
Yeah.
It's like, no. She did it herself because she's an adult. And yes, she made a stupid choice, but she did it on her own.
Yeah. And, fuck. Like, this was the other scene that really got to me because when she went to the doctor, it was the different doctor who fucking like yelled at her and insulted her.
Yes, so the sequence of events, she had her date, she stayed over with her date, and then she was late for the appointment. And because she was late, she missed the appointment. Mm-hmm. And it's that young person mentality of she doesn't think it's a big deal because the trains were a mess. What was I supposed to do? And Kathryn Hahn asks at the desk, can they get her in? And they say yes. And her response is, oh, well, then it's not a problem. She doesn't get that what she just did was really irresponsible, and they have every right to be pissed off about it. And then she has to go see a different doctor, which is the only reason she's able to get in. And he basically, one-on-one with her, berates her fertility to her face.
Right.
Which is really fucked up.
Saying, I have 40-year-old patients who have better eggs than yours, like it's her fucking fault.
And she takes it upon herself after this appointment
Right.
to give herself like an increased dose of the hormones, which fucks her up. Like she has the procedure, everything is great, and then she's like sleeping all day and gaining weight, and she's having genuine physical problems.
And she isn't eating at all.
No, she isn't eating, and then she's crying in the bathroom in the middle of the night in pain, and they have to take her to the hospital. And when she says that she did it, it's because that guy yelled at her, and she didn't want these two to be disappointed. And that is fucking crushing.
Yeah.
That was really a devastating scene. And it's just like, you are such a lovely, sweet young woman.
Yeah.
And you want so badly to find something that you can be good at in this world. And you want so badly to help this couple that means so much to you.
And I think it's that much more like just lovely that this couple does help her in whatever way that they can. Because they bring her to this art institute type
a
thing.
writer's retreat, basically.
Yeah, it's a place where young writers can go to basically be inspired. Like they can be around like-minded people.
Be away from the city. Yeah, they can be away from it all.
Be away from the city. Just get away and let your mind wander. And in this case, she is allowed to get away to finish whatever schooling that she has to. Because, what do they call it? The in absentia.
There was some weird phrasing where she basically says, I didn't drop out. They're allowing me to finish my degree, but not on campus.
Right.
And I don't know if that's a real thing or not, but she said it with such confidence that I'm going to choose to believe her.
I'm going to say yes. And of course, Paul Giamatti being, the kind of guy he is, he says, that kind of sounds like you dropped out.
And he's like, no, they let you do this. It's a real thing.
Yeah, in absentia. It means you dropped out in Latin. But I do think that the relationship between the couple and Sadie is really the most important thing. Yes, the marriage is also very important, but these two are never going to break up. No, they're going to go through all sorts of different problems. They're going to fight. They're going to blame each other. But in the end, they know. They know that one of them isn't trying to go after the other one. And when she is being maybe a little irrational and like saying, you're blaming me, aren't you? And he says, no, I'm really not. I'm trying to be practical here. Even when they're walking down the street, he says, I'm trying to be the pragmatic one.
There are so many sequences in this movie where because she is just full of hormones and stressed out, it's not that she's trying to pick a fight, but she keeps giving him these hypotheticals that he is doomed to fail. And then she gets mad when he gives an honest answer. And that is such a feminine thing to do. Like, I would be lying if I didn't say, we all have done that at one time or another. Well, what do you think of this? Well, what do you think of her? Do you think she is pretty? Like, that's fishing. You're fishing.
Right.
And Kathryn Hahn's character does that the whole movie, where they're looking for a donor egg. When they finally get to the crossroads where she says, okay, I'll consider it, there's a website, and they find someone on the website that they recognize.
Right. Hey, that's the waitress from this restaurant we go to.
And she's always really nice. And they go and stalk her.
Yeah, they go and ogle her.
And she's like, well, what do you think of her?
They ogle her ovum.
Yeah. It's eBay for ova.
eBay for ova.
The website is eBay for ova. But at the restaurant, she says, what do you think? And he starts talking, like he's sexualizing her basically, like she's beautiful and this and that.
She's got a great body. She's always nice to us.
And when she's, in the summer, wears those, short shorts, those little dresses. And then she's disgusted. It's like, what did you expect to happen in this scenario?
I would say yes. He did go a little bit too far there with that last comment.
He did, but she didn't exactly set the ground rules. Like, she didn't say, you are thinking in the sense of daughter.
Right.
Like what our daughter would be like, what our child would be like.
Exactly. And, if it was a different circumstance, you could probably joke around like that, where that's what you and I would do. If we
would stalk someone from one
if we were out people watching, which we are wont to do.
We love to people watch.
but like we will create a scenario about people walking by. But I don't think we've ever had that conversation saying, you would sleep with her, right? Or,
No!
or vice versa. No, we would never do that.
We're not those people. I'm not really that interested. Like, it's a weird conversation. Like, it's a normal conversation, but it's not one that I think about all the time.
No.
We have much more, in my mind, interesting conversations to have.
Well, we have conversations on this podcast about, Jesus Christ, that Ryan Gosling sure is gorgeous, isn't he?
Sure.
And vice versa
that's
with
just a
ladies.
fact.
It is a fact.
It's just a fact.
Right. But we also have conversations about ladies and whoever else. So it's not a weird thing. I'm not saying...
I'm not going to say it about some random waitress in the restaurant, though.
But I remember having a conversation. We were driving in the car somewhere, and you asked me, okay, in high school, who was your, like, celebrity crush? I had to think kind of long and hard to remember which one it was. And I said one, and it's like, no, that doesn't seem right. And I finally landed on it. And you had yours right away. You
I
had like
several.
5.
I was a hormonal teenage girl, and I
course.
was boy crazy, even though I wouldn't dare talk to one or try to date one.
Right, from afar.
Yeah, I just liked to look at them.
But yeah, that's an interesting conversation. Like, we are never going to encounter Jennifer Love Hewitt in our lives.
Was that your answer?
Yes, it was my
answer. I thought
answer.
you told me it was Mandy Moore
Well,
one time.
yes, it was Mandy Moore, but she was the cute version of that.
she was
I
later.
I would date Mandy Moore. I would fuck Jennifer Love Hewitt.
Who would you kill? Oh no!
I don't know how to get out of that conversation. So why don't we just get to the end of the show, and I'm going to ask you, what are some moments here from this movie that you want to talk about before we end it?
So at the beginning of the movie, when they're doing their first round of trying to take a fertilized egg and implant it, the doctor says, all right, well, you just need to lie there and relax, which I'm going to tell you, having been to the gynecologist, that little thingy, that is not the easiest thing to do to see.
Feet up in the stirrups and spread eagle with a stranger in front of you.
No, that is not. Just relax. It's so simple. And then he says, do you like prog rock? And he just puts on some shitty music and starts dinking around with his giant insertion tool.
Well, there was another doctor scene early on in the movie where Paul Giamatti has his, let's just say, his junk worked on, and it's them in like the aftercare room, or whatever you want to call it, the recovery room, and he just has an ice pack on his junk.
Yep. She's there in pain. He's there in pain.
Yeah, they're both going through it together.
Well, and before that, there was the scene where he has to go and give his sample.
Oh, right.
And he's watching the porn, and he is just making the most disgusted, like, this is stupid. And he feels nothing. It is not working for him.
And of course, he has to fumble around with the remote, and the batteries go out of it, and the volume is at top level.
Did you appreciate the fact that the batteries exploded out in the room that he is in? I don't think that was a mistake.
I was more looking at the fact that the little paper behind him stuck to his ass as he got up to get the batteries.
Both of the leads had to Donald Duck in this movie. The only difference is we didn't see his little Giamatti.
His Paul and his little Giamattis.
Singular, he's only got one ball.
That's right. Oh, God damn it.
Does that make it a Giamatti? I'm sorry, everyone. We've gone to a dark place.
Okay, just one more thing. This maybe bothers men more than it does anybody else, but I'm going to say it. When Kathryn Hahn is in front of other people, other doctors, other strangers, other family members, she says, you know he's got one ball, right?
She keeps bringing it up.
Why are you bringing up this very, very private thing about your husband amongst other people?
I don't know. I feel like it came up once, and then other people have anecdotally shared that story to other people. Well, they don't explain why.
The first time, it was when she is talking to the doctor, and she says, you understand that he's only got one testicle, right?
Well, that one makes a little bit more sense because
It's
they
a
were
doctor.
probably it referred to.
Yeah.
It's not their main doctor. They
Right.
keep getting bounced around to the next person.
And he says, yes, it's in your file, it's right here. But of course she says it aloud in the entire, where the entire room can hear it.
She kind of doesn't care at that point. She's at the end of her rope. She needs to make some movement happen. And she's like, okay, well, did you check this? And did you do that? And did you do this other thing?
Yeah, even when they're in the restaurant and gonna talk to the pretty blonde, she's about to just say, hey, can I just buy one of your eggs?
Come on over. Let's talk talk it through.
Right.
This is why I say she's great in this. This is more of a vehicle for her than Paul Giamatti.
As it should be, because
it's her story.
It is her story. Everything is around her and her womb.
Yeah, he is also there, and he gets some good scenes, but for the most part, he's pretty subdued and just there to be supportive.
Okay, Paul Giamatti does get to yell once.
One time.
When he goes back into the doctor's office after the doctor yells at Sadie, he gets to go in there and make a scene.
And you know that doctor didn't actually yell at her, but he definitely said some things to upset her. And didn't seem to think it was a big deal.
Definitely.
So when Paul Giamatti comes in to be a protective dad type, it makes total sense.
It does. I have only one last one here, and I think it's very poignant to who these people are, and the fact that, yes, they are like artistic writers, and they live in Manhattan, they live in this rent-controlled apartment, and everything else. When they leave New York City to go and visit these women in Little Rock, Arkansas, and somewhere in Virginia, they go to meet them at chain restaurants.
Because outside of a big city,
right,
that is where you go.
These fucking New Yorkers don't know anything about chain restaurants.
Unlikely, because they're very uncool and only tourists go to them in New York City.
Exactly. That's all we have around us is chain restaurants.
Listen, don't knock a chain restaurant, but I will always try the local place if I'm somewhere that has different fare.
But just the idea that these two artistic New Yorkers go to these chain restaurants, Famous Dave's and Applebee's, I think is just perfect.
It's very against type for them, and it just goes to show you how far out of their comfort zone they are willing to get to make this family happen for them.
Because we see them go to restaurants. They go to the pasta joint when they bring Sadie out, and they go to the street vendor making burritos.
Yeah, because there's one on every corner in New York.
Right.
We have them, but in the summertime. We are very limited on when we get food trucks.
Yeah, we wish that we had more just locally owned, locally operated restaurants and cafes and things like that. There are some, but for the most part, when there's a brand new chain restaurant that comes to town, there is a line around like 3 blocks of traffic.
It's disgusting.
Waiting to get there.
It's a fucking sandwich or chicken or whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's not worth that wait. We always drive by and go, fuck that. We'll go in 2 months when everybody has given it a whirl and they're sick of it.
Fucking Chick-fil-A came here and we didn't go there for a fucking year.
I haven't been there, Trent.
You haven't been to that one?
No. Number one, there's the whole problem with Chick-fil-A.
Yes.
And number 2, I don't care. It's a chicken sandwich.
It is a chicken sandwich.
But like the Popeyes, remember when that opened?
Popeyes.
We got a Popeyes and we drove by once. The line literally went a half a mile down the road around the corner.
They had to bring cops in to direct traffic around the Popeyes.
Stupid. It was stupid.
Hey, I like Popeyes.
It's fine. Again, these are chain restaurants that we go to because we have them and that's it. But not our first choice.
Indeed. Support your local restaurants, guys. Okay, I think that's where we're going to have to leave Private Life. I'm going to remember this movie because I really enjoyed myself here. It was a great personal story. There was a lot of great dialogue, great acting. I think the Sadie gal, whoever that actress is, did a really great job too.
She had a lot of emotional range that she had to hit.
Yeah.
And she was really cute and funny and smart.
She was young.
And energetic. And
right.
I really liked her.
Also cast Molly Shannon in more things.
Yes,
She's
please.
really great.
Yes, please.
All right, as we say, we have reached the interactive portion of the show. We are going to read a couple of emails that we have received over the past few weeks. If you would like to email us, the email address is neverseenitpod@gmail.com. First email comes in from Betsy's brother, Danny. He says, "Dear Betsy and Trent, long-time downloader, first-time listener here."
He's such a liar. He's listened before.
I know he's listened before. He says, "I just got out of the theater after seeing Godzilla -1. It was phenomenal. It was such a great homage to all of the old Godzilla movies. It told such a great story. I cried at the end. That's saying something. I implore you to see this movie in the theater, and I wait impatiently for the podcast about it. With brotherliness, Danny." Well, Danny, I've got some news for you. If you would like us to go and watch a specific movie, you can pay us to do so at patreon.com/neverseenitpod.
We have a special level just for such a thing.
Yeah.
But I have heard this about Godzilla -1.
Totally.
Everybody is, for a movie I never knew existed until
it came
people
out.
started talking about it being incredible.
Right.
I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I have never seen a Godzilla.
I have
of
seen
any kind.
the 1997 or whatever
Matthew
it was,
Broderick?
Matthew Broderick one. And someday we might watch that.
Someday.
We'll see. But I have a lot of actors that is my point of reference for them. It's the first thing I saw them in, namely Harry Shearer and Hank Azaria. The first thing I saw either of them in was Godzilla.
They have a live action thing?
I didn't know that those two were on The Simpsons. It had nothing to do with anything. They just both happened to be in this live action Godzilla.
What the fuck?
It's an experience, and someday you will experience it.
Okay. Next email, moving on from Godzilla to an email from Stephanie about our final holiday film from the month of December, Krampus. She says, "I love Krampus. This movie is fun and weird and funny. We watch it every year." Yes, she mentioned that she had watched Krampus already earlier in the month.
We just didn't want to tell her quite yet that we were watching it also.
Exactly. Yeah, it was on the list. You did not inspire us, Stephanie. We were planning on doing that anyway.
Or if she did inspire us, it was like a year ago.
Or yeah, maybe it was the previous year.
She inceptioned us.
She says, "The end of the movie where they are trapped in the snow globe is perfect. The cast is great. Toni Collette is a fantastic snob. The aunt is wonderful. Adam Scott and David Koechner are great. I actually really like the mom's sister. I love the practical effects. Holy shit, that Jack in the Box is creepy. The gingerbread men are so funny. And OMG, Krampus versus Violent Night Santa. Best idea ever." Thank you, Stephanie, for that.
I'm just
saying. It is
saying.
the greatest idea
I'm
ever.
just anyone who wants to take that idea and make it happen.
Yep.
I will buy a
Free
ticket.
idea. We put it out into the universe.
I'll buy a ticket opening night. Just let me have it.
But it has to be David Harbour.
David Harbour. They said that we were going to get Violent Night 2. I don't know when it's going to happen. Fingers crossed it's next Christmas. Come on, Violent Night 2.
Let's make it happen. But thanks again, Superfan Stephanie, for writing that email. And Danny, I guess.
Hey, he contributed.
It's true. If you would like to contribute, just like those folks did, email us at neverseenitpod@gmail.com. Same rigmarole as always. Go to our social media pages. We're doing a lot more on the Twitter and the Instagram, and not so much Facebook anymore, because who the fuck uses Facebook anymore, really? But what everybody should be using is Patreon. Patreon.com/neverseenitpod. We've got 4 brand new shows, if you did not already know. 4 brand new shows are premiering every single Wednesday of every single month.
And we've already got a few of them out, so you can check out our Children of Men episode and our episode on Crazy Stupid Love. And we've got another one coming out on Wednesday For Batman Begins.
Batman Begins is the first box set episode coming out on Wednesday.
Because we're doing all 3 of those movies.
We're doing all 3. That's why we call it box set. We're
all
doing
this,
the whole trilogy.
All this can be yours.
All this can be yours at patreon.com/neverseenitpod. We have an episode out there called Our Special Announcement where we talk about all the shows in detail. Check that episode out if you're interested. But this is normally when we announce what we're going to be covering next week. But Betsy, we don't really know yet because when you are listening to this episode on Sunday the 21st, 2 days from then, the Oscar nominations come out on the 23rd. So we don't really know what we're going to do that Sunday because if there is a movie on Netflix nominated for Best Picture...
There's one in the running.
Yeah, we will watch that movie next Sunday. If not, we'll probably throw in another Netflix movie if we don't need to use that Sunday to cover another Oscar-nominated movie.
Yeah, we have anywhere from 4 to 10 movies that we have to watch.
Yeah, and in theory, we've already watched, 3 to 4-ish.
We're figuring we've got 5 or 6 that we're going to need to cover depending on what the final count is this year.
And if you're doing the counting, there's only 6 weeks left before the actual Oscars, so we got to use our Sundays efficiently, if you will.
But all that to say, we're going to be winging it a little bit until Tuesday when we know what our plan's going to be.
But what I can announce, if you want to hear us talk about and discuss the Oscar nominations right after they happen, we're going to be recording an exclusive Patreon show. It is going to be us reacting to the Oscar nominations after they come out on the 23rd. Not sure exactly when that's going to be coming out. Probably the last Wednesday of the month. So look forward to that coming out at patreon.com/neverseenitpod. I'm just going to keep on saying it until everybody signs up. But that is it for this episode. Thank you again for listening. We'll be back to you next week with another episode of Never Seen It. My name is Trent.
My name is Betsy.
We'll see you next week.
Bye, everyone.